What is up, y'all? It's the Sound Alchemist, back at it again, bringing you those 40 facts on the Warhammer 40K universe. Welcome. Today we are doing some more demonic engine lore. Today we were talking about part 2 to the Nurgle demon engines. So if you guys aren't aware, we're doing a little bit of a focus on the demon engines. We've talked about part 1 for Khorne demon engines. We've talked about the Tzeentch demon engines. And we've also talked about the first half of the Nurgle demonic engines. So today we will be focusing on the Blight Drone, the Folded Bloat Drone, the Plague Hulk, and the Plague Tower. So without further ado, guys, let's get our hazmat suits as we dive into this Nurgle lore. First up, we have the Blight Drone, otherwise known as the Biocyst, which is a demonic engine dedicated to the chaos god of pestilence and disease. This drone is a weird conglomeration of an insect larva and a flying machine. The maddening, iridescent noise of the droning buzz of its rotor discs echo across the battlefield, and it has been recognized as an omen of death. Stories from maimed and rotting survivors of Blight Drone attacks are quick to spread through the ranks of the Imperial Guard, each story having negative effects on morale and spreading fear and panic amongst the soldiers. This threat to the morale and overall stability of a regiment has been deemed so serious that any guardsman caught telling these tales faces immediately arrest and transportation to the penal unit. The deadly reputation of this drone is only matched by its deadly weaponry. The drone is armed with a Reaper autocannon and a Maul Cannon. The Maul Cannon is a smaller version of the weapon found on the mighty Soul Grinder demon engine, and it tends to fire out gouts of corrosive toxic bile that is powerful enough to eat through metal and liquefy flesh in mere seconds. The bile from the drone's Maul Cannon is extremely effective against entrenched infantry, and vehicles for that matter. The Blight Drone's seemingly squat and bloated form is also really resistant against attacks, especially for a skimmer of that size. This quality is attributed to the living flesh and rusted armor plating on the drone, as well as the will of whatever dark intelligence that is guiding them. If a Blight Drone is destroyed in combat, it detonates in a shower of bile and pus, and these shards are capable of causing extreme damage to everything caught within the blast. The first time these putrid creatures were discovered was during the Siege of Vrax. However, their true origins remain unknown. It was far from the last time they were seen. Blight Drones have been encountered several other battles, including fighting alongside the Chaos Space Marines during the 13th Black Crusade, which was led from Abaddon. Up next, we have none other than the Plague Hulk. No, this isn't the Incredible Hulk which has been corrupted by Nurgle, although that would be really scary. This is another thing entirely. The Plague Hulk is a demon engine dedicated to the service of the chaos god Nurgle. A demon engine is essentially a nightmarish artificial construct used by the forces of chaos that is essentially a fusion of a vehicle, a combat walker, or other type of machine fusing with the demonic spirit of the warp demons. The Plague Hulk is a multi-limbed combat walker that resembles a fusion of a defiler and a soul grinder, with a corpulent demon of Nurgle piloting it. The Plague Hulk is ungainly and sickening to look at, staggering into battle on corroded metal limbs, the engine belching great shrouds of reeking vapor and pestilent fog that poisons the very earth itself. The Plague Hulk has a seething maggot-ridden mass of putrid demon flesh, and at the center of this mass sits a massive gaping maw capable of vomiting a tide of unspeakable foulness that can literally rot flesh and corrode metal. This weaponized ability, which has been classified by the Ordo Malleus, is known as a Maul Cannon. And this awesome creature of putrid destruction has a Rot Cannon. Now, the Rot Cannon belches out shells that are so impregnated with dark ichor and infection that a mere scratch from one of these bone fragments will immediately and agonizingly fester into a crippling injury. Now, the Plague Hulk, much like the Defiler and the Soul Grinder, also has a powerful weapon known as the Iron Claw, which are also sometimes called Servo Claws. These weapons usually take the form of large piston-driven claws featuring 3 bladed talons and are fully capable of tearing main battle tanks into pieces, or wiping out entire squads of infantry in a single fell swoop. This demon machine also carries a weapon in its single massively powerful limb. This weapon is usually a gigantic cleaver or a huge rusted flail, and when coupled with the creature's immense strength, almost nothing can stand in its way. The next demonic engine of Nurgle is the Plague Tower. So the Plague Tower of Nurgle is a very large demon engine of chaos that is completely in dedication to Nurgle. This Plague Tower is a huge construction of rotting timbers and rusting metal that carves its way across the battlefield, leaving nothing but a trail of death and contamination in its wake. Enemy fire literally bounces off of its heavy armor, while inside the tower diseased followers of Nurgle wait impatiently, ready to spring out into their frenzied assault once the drawbridges have been dropped. This assault is often led by a greater demon of Nurgle, for example, a Great Unclean One, whose massive maggot-ridden bulk is barely contained within its twisted engine of war. So this war machine is constructed by Nurgle's acolytes, using thousands of twisted and corrupted slaves to toil and build away at this awesome machine of destruction. Now, its construction does require the sacrifice of these slaves, and their souls are bound to driving the demonic machine with their raw emotion. And finally, we come to the final demonic engine of Nurgle, the Folded Blight Drone. Now, before I jump into their lore, I just want to say that these guys are tough. I played a game against them in our latest battle report. It was my Blood Angels going against the Death Guard, and damn, they were tough. His army was literally just like really resilient. It seemed like Bolter Fire did nothing to the Folded Blight Drone, but if you want to see the epic conclusion to that battle, it is in our playlist for our 40K bat reps. So check that out, guys. And now, let's dive into their lore. These drones are created in Festering Manufactura, on Nurgle's dominated demon worlds. The cost in blood sacrifice to create these engines is significant, as is the binding rituals that are very hazardous in the extreme. Yet their enduring popularity with the Traitor Legion's Death Guard lords ensures that the floated boat drones are ferried in great numbers to the war zones in which the Death Guard fight, and they are deployed in swarms that darken the skies. The Folded Blight Drones are usually equipped with a pair of plague spitters. As the demon engine floats over the battlefield, its trailing pipes and tubules suckle rot and filth with idiot hunger to fuel these revolting weapons. The boat drone then slurps up diseased innards in maggot-thick mud until its putrid flesh is literally straining and pulsating, refining a hideous cocktail of hyper-concentrated toxic slime. Then, with a disgusting spasm of regurgitation, the drones squirts the resultant soup through its plague spitters, spraying it in great fans across the foe. Literally, no cover or defense can protect the target from this lethal rain of filth. Victims find their bodies convulsing and twisting in grips of thousands of maladies, rotting and bloating away until they collapse in a heap of decaying, highly infectious matter. Many are still screaming when they do. Now, the other weapon that they have isn't as disgusting, but it's still pretty powerful. Other Blight drones are equipped with long-range bombardment heavy blight launchers. These demon engines suck armor-piercing blight shells from their rusting drum magazines, and then they fire them in rippling volleys. The rain of disease-ridden shells can reduce a battle tank to a corroded, collapsing wreck in mere moments, or they bring whole squads of heavily armored troops to their knees. They are clad in rusting plates of wrought iron armor, and their hulls are overflowing with flabby foulness. Floated Blight drones can withstand ferocious amounts of punishments, and they will keep on fighting. They are designed to hover in close, drifting lazily through the most treacherous of terrain to provide supporting fire to their lords. And with that, we have come to the end of yet another disgusting Nurgle lore. I was about to eat after this lore, but after hearing about that nasty Folded Blight drone and its vomiting and pulsatingness, I think I'm done. I just need to not think about that for a while. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about these nasty plague demons. Yes, they're resilient on the battlefield, and yes, they are very, very difficult to kill, but that's what they're there for. They're there to absorb amounts of firepower from the enemy army, letting other units go up in there and do what they do best. So again, guys, if you do have a Nurgle army, or if you played against a Nurgle army, let me know in the comments down below, how did you fare? And don't forget to check out our battle report where my Blood Angels went up against Mortarion and his floated Blight Drones. But yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. Stay tuned because we still have Khorne Part 2 to cover, as well as the Slaaneshi Demons. So I've been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.